Hello, sports fans. We are ready for NFL picks for week number 8 in the league where they play for pay. And let's get right to it. Last week I was 15-11-1. I rallied late after the slow start. I was 6-6-1 straight up picking. Kansas City was a push. 3-2 with my over and unders, and 6-3 with my teasers. The teasers really saved me again last week. So 15-11-1, that gets me up to 82-58-2 in the NFL. With the teasers, I played Green Bay and under, Green Bay and Kansas City and Denver, New England, Cincinnati, Denver, Cincinnati, and Seattle, New England. Those were the 6 I won. The 3 I lost were all with Atlanta. I took Denver, New England, and Cincinnati, all with Atlanta. Atlanta blew a 17-point lead. Then they missed a field goal late that would have won it. Then they went for that 4th down in overtime that sealed their fate. So Atlanta cost me 3 teasers, but I still went 6-3. Would have liked to have done better with the straight-up picking, 6-6-1. I never thought the Jets were going to rally to win with Fitzpatrick. I thought Buffalo, when they were up double digits, was going to beat Miami. They fell apart. And like I said, Atlanta blowing a 17-point lead. The other games I could see, they were kind of 50-50 games. So there you go. That was last week. As far as this week goes, there are some tough games in the NFL this week. I mean, if there's ever a week you want to take off from betting, this could be it. I thought last week was tough. This week could be even worse. Every game is like 4 points or less. A lot of swing games. Plus, you got 6 teams off this week. So you got a lot of tough games. A lot of flip-of-the-coin games. Let's get right to it. Let's go down to Atlanta for pick number 1, where the Atlanta Falcons are -3 against the Green Bay Packers. This is a must-watch game on Sunday. Atlanta down to 4-3. Like I said, lost to San Diego, blew a 27-10 lead at home. Then they missed the field goal at the end there, and then they go for it inexplicably in overtime on their half of the field, 4th and 1. Did not like that at all. Did not like the play call at all there. To me, he should have punted. That shows you what the Atlanta coach thinks of his defense. He doesn't think much of his defense. Atlanta is more of an offensive team. He trusted the offense more than the defense there, and it came back to bite him. Didn't like the play call, at all there, going straight up the middle there. The defense is looking for that. I would have liked to have spread him out. Maybe hit Julio Jones with a pass. Maybe Sanu. I don't like running straight up the middle there, 4th and 1. You would just stop 3rd and 1 on a sneak. So I would have punted, and if you do go for it, I didn't like that play call. Came back to bite Atlanta. It's funny. Atlanta's done all this good work this year. They've had a tough schedule. They've been out west a lot. You look up, they're 4-3, and they're only a half a game ahead in the division over Tampa, and Tampa won in Atlanta. So very quickly things can change in the NFL. Atlanta had 2 tough losses in a row to Seattle and here to San Diego. They could easily be 6-1. Instead, they're 4-3. Green Bay 4-2. Beat Chicago on Thursday Night Football. Green Bay's funny this year. They're good. They're always going to be a contender with Rodgers, but they're not firing on all cylinders. Both of their running backs are injured. They're not as explosive downfield. They've kind of been choppy in these games. They were actually losing this game in the 3rd quarter, finally got it together and pulled away. Green Bay, not as good as they used to be, but still a solid team. This is a very tough game, an extremely hard game to pick. I'm going to go with Atlanta here because I think Atlanta must be stewing over the last 2 weeks losing these games. So I think they're going to be an angry bunch of Falcons. Imagine if Atlanta ever lost this game and went to 4-4. They could conceivably be out of first place with all that good work they did. That's how fast things can change in the NFL. But I got to think Atlanta's going to come out really angry this week. They're going to want to really take it out on Green Bay after losing 2 tough games they could have won. I like Atlanta here in a tough, brutally hard game to pick, a must-watch game. I'll go with the Falcons there. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2. Let's go down to the Big Easy, Louisiana, the Superdome. Some of the best fans in all of the NFL. The Seattle Seahawks, -3 against the New Orleans Saints. Seattle 4-1-1, coming off a tie against Arizona in just one of the most bizarre games in NFL history. 6-6 tie. Seattle didn't even get over midfield till like the last 5 minutes of the game. Both teams missing short field goals to win. Arizona had a billion chances to score, couldn't do it. How awesome was Seattle's defense in that game? time after time after time they responded. Seattle's defense is just to die for. I love Seattle's defense. In a league where it's all offense now, Seattle's defense comes to play. They get after you. They look to take the ball away, and they make tackles. You got to love Seattle's defense. Now, Seattle on offense, they are shaky because of this offensive line. The offensive line is shaky, and they take way too many penalties. I mean, Russell Wilson isn't scrambling as much because he's nursing a couple injuries. That offensive line has got to be better. Even when Seattle makes a play, there's always a flag on them. So Seattle's offensive line has to do better. New Orleans, 2-4, lost to Kansas City, made a million mistakes. Listen, you know what you're going to get from New Orleans. Drew Brees will keep you in the game. New Orleans is not a great team. Their defense is not any good. I don't think New Orleans is even a 500 team. I have to like Seattle here. Even though it's on the road, I trust them more. They're battle-tested. They will make stops. I don't know if New Orleans will. I'll take Seattle there. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3, let's go up to Buffalo, where the New England Patriots are -5.5 against the Buffalo Bills in what should be a wild scene up in Buffalo. The fans should go nuts for this game. New England up to 6-1, beat Pittsburgh. No surprise there. Got off to a 14-0 lead. Kind of went to sleep. Steelers rallied a little bit. New England woke up and pulled away at the end. Buffalo down to 4-3. Lost to Miami. Bad loss by Buffalo. You're up 17-6 in the third quarter. You have to find a way to beat Miami. And I was disappointed in the Ryans letting this Miami running back for a second straight week just run wild over the defense. Bad loss by Buffalo. These are the type of games that keep Buffalo from going to that next level. They always have one of these games. Not a good loss for Buffalo. They had to find a way to win that game, and they did not. So this game here, very, very tough game. Now remember, Buffalo already went up to New England and won. Remember when New England had the third-string quarterback? So I think New England is going to look for a little revenge here. Now, this is a tough place to play, but I got to think New England is going to find a way to win. This may be a game I look to go money line with New England or move the line in a teaser, but I think New England's going to find a way to win. They're going to remember that Buffalo shut them out up in their place. They're going to want to, get their revenge in this game. I think New England finds a way to win. I like the Pats there. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go down to Tampa Bay, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are -1 against the Oakland Raiders. Tampa Bay 3-3, just laid it on San Francisco. How bad is San Francisco? I mean, are they not the worst? Please. All the quarterbacks can go there, and Chip Kelly can go. Terrible job by the Niners. Believe it or not, Tampa Bay is only a half a game out of first, and they have a win in Atlanta this year. So in 2 weeks, Tampa Bay went from 1-3 looking dreadful to right, almost at the top of the division. That's how quick things can change in the NFL. Oakland doing a really nice job in a tough division. Oakland's 5-2, beat Jacksonville. By the way, who made Oakland's schedule this year? They have been on the East Coast the whole year. They go to Tampa Bay. They've been to Jacksonville, been to Baltimore, been to Tennessee, and they've won all these games. Now, I know those teams aren't any great, but Oakland has found a way to beat these type of teams. Now, Oakland, after this game, I think has 4 straight home games. So if Oakland ever got through this game, go to 6-2 with all those home games, they're in good shape. I think they are going to get through here. They've done it before on the road. They've come through for me each and every time on the road. I got to go back on them here. I like the quarterback. I like the offensive line. Defense needs to get better, but I think Oakland is just better than Tampa Bay, so I'm going to go Oakland +1 against the Bucs. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go to Indianapolis, where the Kansas City Chiefs are -2.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. Chiefs up to 4-2, beat New Orleans. Chiefs doing a nice job after getting drubbed by Pittsburgh a few weeks ago. They've responded. That division is brutal, like I said. Indianapolis up to 3-4, had a nice road win in Tennessee after blowing that game to Houston the week before. I think Kansas City's better. I think there's going to be a lot of Kansas City fans here making the trip to Indianapolis. I think Kansas City is the more complete team. I like Reed as the coach. Indianapolis is too much about luck, and we all love luck, but it always falls on him. I don't love the Indianapolis defense. I think they're an okay team, but I don't think they're a great team. I think Kansas City is better, so I'll go Kansas City -2.5 against Indianapolis in Indianapolis. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6, let's go to Denver, where the Denver Broncos are -6 against the San Diego Chargers. Denver up to 5-2. Now, I said the whole week, I said to anyone that would listen, take Denver last night, Take them in teasers, straight up, combination, parlays. I told you Denver was the best bet of the week. I told you they were going to lay it on Houston. They did. Houston cannot handle those type of teams. Houston's been on the road 3 times this year, and 3 times they have fallen flat on their face. Denver ate up the Houston quarterback. I told anyone that would listen to take Denver. They came through in a big way last night. San Diego, give them credit. They're 3-4. They've won 2 straight. They came back from 17 down on the road in Atlanta. Give San Diego all sorts of credit. I've been on San Diego's case all year. San Diego is such a strange team. They play better when they're behind. When they're up 14, they blow the game. But when they're down 17, they come back and win. So they are such a strange team. Such a strange team to predict. This is a very tough game. The line is a little high at 6, especially the way San Diego plays. I may move this line to pick them or play Denver in a money line, but I'm going to go Denver at home with their defense here straight up to beat San Diego. It should be another wild AFC West game. By the way, how good is the AFC West? You have Denver, San Diego, Kansas City, and Oakland, who are all look like pretty decent teams right now, so that division is absolutely loaded. I'm going to go Denver there, move the line to even. I'll play it in a money line or a teaser. I'm going to go Denver's defense here to at least make some stops and win this game. I'll take Denver there. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7. Let's go down to Carolina, where the Carolina Panthers are -2.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Hard to believe, by the way, Carolina's favored over anyone since they're 1-5. They're coming off a bye. Their defense has been atrocious this year. Arizona 3-3-1, tied Seattle, and has to be absolutely sick that they tied Seattle. They had 450 chances to score and win this game and could not do it. That was a bad tie for Arizona. As far as this game, I just don't trust Carolina's defense. They give up a lot of points. Arizona has not allowed a touchdown the last 2 weeks, so I like that. I know Arizona sometimes on the road can be shaky. They got drubbed up in Buffalo, but I just don't trust a 1-5 team right now. So I'm going to take Arizona on the road plus 2.5. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go up to Dallas, the big D in Dallas, where the Dallas Cowboys are -4 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas 5-1, coming off a bye. Dallas can do no wrong right now. Prescott, the quarterback, looks really good. Running back looks awesome. Offensive line is good. Dallas right now can do no wrong. Philadelphia 4-2 had a very nice win against Minnesota. Totally shut Minnesota down. Eagles defense played well. The Eagles had lost 2 in a row. That was a nice bounce back win for Philadelphia. This is another brutally tough game. NFC East rivalry game. Again, I may take Dallas here and make this a money line game. I think Dallas maybe squeaks it out just because they're home. It's a brutally tough game. If you like the Eagles, I mean, I couldn't argue with you. It's a game I wouldn't recommend betting. I would recommend just enjoying this game, but I may move that line and take Dallas in the money line just to squeak it out. Dallas has been very good to me. I think every game Dallas has been involved in this year, I have won with, so I will take Dallas there. Pick number 9. Let's go to the Monday Night Football game where the Minnesota Vikings are -4.5 against the Chicago Bears. Bears, of course, are a disaster. They're 1-5, lost to Green Bay. Looks like Cutler is coming back this week. That's probably a negative because he's good for at least 2 turnovers a game, a fumble, a pick. You know Cutler. He's just a complete mess. Minnesota 5-1, finally took a loss. Listen, I told everyone, Minnesota is not better without Peterson. A lot of people told me Minnesota is better without Peterson. No, they're not. They have no running game without him. I'd love to see Peterson come back. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Minnesota right now has no running game. Bradford is taking a lot of shots. Offensive line has a couple injuries. Wide receiver, a couple injuries there. So Minnesota's offense, not all that great, but their defense is tremendous. And against a bad team like Chicago, they should swarm all over the Bears and Cutler, force a few turnovers. That should be enough to win this game. And I also like Minnesota because the coach called them out after the Eagle lost. Said they were soft, and he said a bunch of negative things about them. I think Minnesota's going to be very angry come Monday night, and they're going to lay it on the Bears and Cutler. So I like the Vikings there, -4.5 in Chicago. There's about 4 other games that I don't think I'm going to pick this week. The Thursday game is Tennessee at home -3 against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's 2-4, lost to Oakland. Tennessee's 3-4, lost at home to Indianapolis. I don't think I'm going to pick that game. I don't trust either one of those teams. And by the way, I got a lot of messages from Tennessee fans the last few weeks telling me they're the class of this division. The division's weak, by the way. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make some noise. Listen, if that's the case, you got to win at home against the Colts. I mean, come on. And you barely hung on to beat the Browns the week before. So the Tennessee fans were very chirpy the last few weeks. I'm going to pass on Tennessee, Jacksonville. I'm going to pass on Houston, Detroit. Houston's at home, -3 against Detroit. Houston's 4-0 at home, 0-3 on the road. I don't trust Osweiler. I don't know what to make of Houston. Detroit also 4-3. They've won 3 in a row, all at home. The last time they were on the road, they couldn't score against Chicago. They are doing a nice job, Detroit. Nice win against Washington. Stafford's playing good. Don't know what to make of that game either. That's a throwout. I'm going to throw the Jets-Cleveland out just on general principle. The Jets are 2-5. Did rally to beat Baltimore. Fitzpatrick back at quarterback, but I don't love them. And I'm certainly not going to take Cleveland, who has no wins. And the Washington-Cincinnati game in London. I never know what to make of these London games. Washington 4-3, lost at the end to Detroit. Cincinnati did win, did beat Cleveland. They're up to 3-4. It's a strange game. Cincinnati is actually favored by 3 in this game. If I had a pick, I'd probably go at Washington because I don't know if Cincinnati's shown me enough to be favored against Washington this year. But I'm going to throw those 4 games out. I have no real opinion on those games. And remember, the Rams, Miami, the Giants, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, and Baltimore all have a bye this week. The Rams played a dreadful game in London. Quarterback was awful, 4 interceptions. Miami, nice job by them the last 2 weeks. The running back did something that's only been done 3 or 4 other times in NFL history, going over 200 yards. So nice job by Miami. I also got a lot of messages from Dolphin fans telling me they're going to the Super Bowl. Calm down, Dolphin fans. I don't even think your team's a 500 team, but enjoy the 2 wins you had. Giants found a way to win in London. Pittsburgh needs a week off, to get some healthy bodies back. San Francisco needs a year off, needs to get rid of these quarterbacks, needs to get rid of Chip Kelly. Do you think the Niners miss Jim Harbaugh? Remember when I told you don't get rid of Jim Harbaugh? Look what he's doing at Michigan, building a power there. The Niners with Harbaugh and Kaepernick were about 5 yards away from winning the Super Bowl not too long ago. Now look at them. Now they're a complete mess. You should have kept Jim Harbaugh. I don't care how hard he was to deal with. Winning is better than this mess. And Baltimore, what a disappointment they are. They have a bye this week. Back-to-back weeks, they come to New York and lay an absolute egg, lose to the Giants, and then what a disgrace in the second half. Let Ryan Fitzpatrick, of all people, rally to beat you. That's a terrible job by the Ravens, so they need a week off in the worst way. Like I said last week, 15-11-1 overall, 6-6-1 straight up picking. Kansas City was a push, 3-2 in the over and under, 6-3 with the teasers. So I'm up to 82, 58, and 2. So I'd like to do a little better in the straight up picking this week, although this week is another brutally hard week to pick games. As far as college football, I was 3-2 last week. I am up to 29, 18, and 4 in the college football. So let's get to the college football week number 9. By the way, week number 9 in college football. Are you kidding me? Where did the last 2 months go? The Final Four playoffs come out soon. The rankings, I should say, come out soon. And we have about another month to go, and we are done with the regular season in college football. How fast is college football? Ohio State's luck ran out. They rallied to win 2 weeks ago in Wisconsin, but they lost at the end of Penn State last week. Great win by Penn State. Great scene in Happy Valley with the whiteout. Fans rushed the field. Nice win for Penn State. Ohio State not out of it yet. If they run the table and beat Michigan, they're still alive. But let's get to the picks for week number 9 in college football. I have 6 picks for you. Let's start in Florida State. This is probably where game day is going to be this week, where the Clemson Tigers are -4.5 at the Florida State Seminoles. Clemson, of course, undefeated. Beat Louisville, hung on and beat Louisville, hung on and beat NC State after NC State missed a field goal. It would have won that game. Florida State disappointing this year. Lost to Louisville on the road, lost at home to North Carolina. Have been playing a little better since they beat Miami a couple weeks ago. Just on history, just on Florida State's home record, just on all the success Florida State has had at home, I'm going to take Florida State here, take a chance, and grab that 4.5 points at home. How many times has Florida State been a 4.5 point underdog at home to anybody? I cannot remember the last time Clemson has not been firing on all cylinders this year. They've escaped a couple times. They haven't been blowing too many teams out. I think Florida State at home, this is their season here. I think Florida State at least can keep this close. So I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take Florida State plus 4.5 at home. I think the fans are going to be wild. Chief Osceola with the flaming spear at the beginning of the game. Florida State's going to be all riled up for this game. I think they hang in there. I'll take FSU plus 4.5. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2. Let's go to Madison, Wisconsin. Great stadium, great fans. The fourth quarter, when they do jump around, is tremendous. Wisconsin, -9 against undefeated Nebraska. No one's talking about Nebraska. They haven't played that many good teams, but they are undefeated. Wisconsin, of course, lost 2 heartbreaking games to Michigan and Ohio State. I think Wisconsin is better than Nebraska. I think this is the week Nebraska takes a loss. Now, if you think the spread is too high at 9, maybe play the money line here, but I think Wisconsin wins this game at home. I think Nebraska is due for a loss. I like Wisconsin there. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3. Let's go down to Jacksonville, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Great rivalry game here with the Florida Gators on -7 against the Georgia Bulldogs. This is a very unique game, kind of like Texas and Oklahoma, where they play at a neutral site. These teams play at a neutral site, 50-50 fan base. Florida 6-1, only loss was to Tennessee. Georgia, very disappointing, 4-3. I don't like Georgia at all this year. Lost to Vanderbilt at home. Let me say it again. Georgia lost to Vanderbilt at home. Where do you think I'm going here? Got to go with the Gators here. I think Florida is just better than Georgia. I think Georgia was lucky to win 4 games. They escaped a lot in the beginning of the year. They've lost about 3 of the last 4 games. I don't like Georgia at all. I like Florida in the cocktail party. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4, let's go to Oxford, Mississippi, the Grove, where the Auburn Tigers are -3 against the Ole Miss Rebels. Auburn lost twice early in the year to Clemson and A&M, but they have been rolling since. They're one of the hottest teams in all of college football. Keep an eye on them. Ole Miss, what a disappointment this year, 3-4. I told you last week to take LSU. I bet LSU heavy last week, and I won. Ole Miss gives up a lot of points. I don't trust Ole Miss's defense at all. I know the game is in the Grove, but Auburn is just too hot right now. I got to go with Auburn. I'll take Auburn -3 at the Grove. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. As my paper is stuck together here. Pick number 5. Let's go to Utah. Salt Lake City, Utah, where the Washington Huskies take their undefeated record to Utah. Washington -10.5 at Utah. Like I said, Washington undefeated. Utah has only lost once. That was on the road to, I believe, Cal. Washington, one of the teams that's up for the Final Four playoff. They're one of the contenders for the Pac-12 title. This is going to be their stiffest test so far. They haven't faced a team like this on the road yet. Utah has a knack at home of pulling off big upsets or at least hanging in the game. I got to grab the 10.5 here. This is a boatload. Utah is a historically good home team. Haven't lost at home this year. Washington is undefeated, but this is their toughest test yet. I'm not saying Washington can't win the game. They probably will pull it out. 10.5, though, in Utah is way too much. Utah, over the years, always covers as a home dog. I am going to take Utah, grab the 10.5 to at least keep it close. That's a very interesting game, a game you want to keep your eye on. And finally, pick number 6. Let's go to East Lansing, Michigan, where the Michigan Wolverines are -23.5 against the Michigan State Spartans. Michigan undefeated, looks like one of the best teams in all of college football. Michigan State, what a disaster. 2-5. They are an absolute disaster this year. Remember last year. Remember what happened last year up in Ann Arbor when Michigan State won that improbable game when Michigan fumbled the punt. Michigan State ran it back with no time left. You don't think Harbaugh and Michigan remember that? Michigan is going to look to just smother Michigan State, and I think they're going to do it. I think Michigan State is tailor-made for Michigan. I don't think they're going to be able to score much. This, to me, could be a 38-7 game. I think Michigan is going to be all over State. I know it's a huge rivalry game. The spread is very high. It's probably never been this high in Michigan State. I can't remember it being this high, but I like Michigan. I think they're going to shut down Michigan State. They're going to remember last year, and they are going to look to pound Michigan State. Look for Michigan to win this game easily. I like Michigan there. That is pick number 6. So those are your 6 picks for college football. A couple other games I didn't pick you might want to keep your eye on. West Virginia at Oklahoma State. West Virginia is undefeated, and Baylor's undefeated. They go to Texas. That's a game you want to keep your eye on. So that is your pick for college football. Of course, we're ready for the World Series. It will be the Indians and the Cubs. Cubs looking to end their drought, their 100-year drought. Indians looking to end their drought. By the way, I have a real problem with the Indians having home field here. The Cubs were like 9 games better in this, as far as record, but yet the Indians have home field because they make the All-Star game determine who has home field. That's a terrible job by baseball. The Cubs should have home field. It's also strange here with the Indians. The Cavaliers just won. So you kind of feel like that whole curse for Cleveland has been lifted. So you don't get that same feel with the Indians like you do with the Cubs here. It's a strange dynamic. Also, think of this. Theo Epstein, the GM of the Cubs, was the GM of the Red Sox, ended their curse. Now he could end the Cubs' curse. Imagine that. You win with the Red Sox and the Cubs. That's unbelievable. And on the flip side, who was the manager of the Red Sox when they won? Terry Francona. He's the manager of the Indians. So one way or the other, Francona or Epstein are going to come out of this looking really, really good. Cleveland and the Cubs getting ready to go tonight from Cleveland. Should be a good long series. If you like some baseball, check out the World Series. All right, there you go. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. Thanks so much for all the great messages last week. You guys are tremendous. Got a lot of support last week. You guys stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money in a difficult NFL week this week. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care.